Sorry, I was trying to read this big secret witness testimony from Jodi Arias trial, penalty trial. You know, the one where one stupid moron, brain dead juror who saw the TV movie on the Lifetime channel decided that the real Jodi Arias didn't look quite the same or sound quite the same as the actress, so she must be innocent. You know, that trial.
There was just one holdout.
She came in there with an agenda.
From the very first day,
The jurors say the lone holdout wouldn't say much, except that she had seen the Lifetime movie Jodi Arias' Dirty Little Secret.
she really expected to see this horrible monster based off the fact that she had seen these movies. I really didn't trust her opinion at that point.
After her vote saved Jodi Arias and broke the hearts of Travis Alexander's family yet again.
Okay. Anyway, I got this big giant sheaf of papers with the secret witness, who of course was Jodi Arias herself. And reading this stuff, I was going to do a whole video on this, but it bore me to death. I was looking at my local paper the other day, and we have a drought in California, as you know. And there's a big controversy about water and whether one of the Little Canyon communities going to join up with a bigger water district. So they've been having raging debates for a year. This is how, you know, newsworthy things are. Voters reject, can you see this? Voters reject Measure N by a single vote. And then if you see down here, my little editorial comment, Jodi Arias retrial penalty phase rejected the right outcome by a single vote. Where were we? This giant witness testimony of Jodi was so boring that instead of doing a whole thing on this, I'm just going to read you a couple excerpts, then we'll go on to something else. What is this thing, like 380 pages if you look up the transcript, okay? I started printing them all out and I fell asleep to even doing that, so I just printed out some of it. It's still a huge amount. As I was saying, my whole life I considered I'm not making this up. This is, okay, I'm going to start over. This is what she actually say on the witness stand. I'm going to read it verbatim, I promise. You can look it up for yourself if you think I'm making this up. Question by Wilmot. Why not? Well, as I was saying, my whole life I considered myself somebody who is, I know who I am. Yeah, we know who you are too, okay? Murderer, succubus, okay? Sociopath, okay? I know who I was, and I did that, and that is not who I am. But I did that, and I can't, it is so hard to reconcile the two contemporaneously. Okay, she didn't say that. Because I just can't. It's hard to believe I did it. Not hard for us to believe, given your history. And it is hard, I can't, I wish so much that day didn't happen. Yeah, we all wish that, Jodi, but you planned that day for weeks. Meticulously planned it, I must say. It didn't happen on spur of the moment, did it? Okay, where were you born? I were born in Salinas, California. That's not far from here. Give me the chills, you know. Satan's spawn was born not far from here. July 9th, 1980. Does that make you, question by Wilma, did that make you 34 now? Yes. Hey, you know what that means? That means that even if Judge Stephen go insane and sentence her to 25 to life, she's going to be 59 when she get out. No more chance making little satanic babies, what she want to do, you know. So you were 27 when you killed Mr. Alexander. Wilma, I would have said murdered Alexander, but anyway. That's 7 years ago. Look how long this drag on. She's not even sentenced yet. Guilty all the time, not even sentenced. Justice delayed is justice denied, as they say. Okay, my parents, I live in Salinas. My sister Angela, she was 11 to 13 years. My brother Carl. Page after page of these details. And after 300 pages of this, you, like myself, would ask yourself, oh, listen to this one, for example. I have learned since then that my mother smoked pot. She smoked pot before I were born, right? She may have done it in her pregnancy, but I'm not aware of if she did. And that's something she didn't want to share with you before Mr. Martinez piped up. Objection! Speculation! Okay, yes or no? Okay. Anyway, lack of foundation. Okay, Judge Stephen uphold his objection. What was going to school in the 6th grade like a new school? Well, when my parents first announced that we were moving, my art teacher made an impact on me, okay? Oh, how did he do that, says Wilmot. He saw, I think, talent in me, and he recognized and praised my art. Jodi, don't you mean to say he praised your ability to trace things and pretend it were your art? Because that's what you do in all your stuff. You just copy somebody else's, okay? Anyway, if you wonder like me how this raft of stuff can go on and on and on, and what that have to do with Jodi's murder and her trial and her penalty phase, I actually do know the answer to what I have to do with it, okay? Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Okay. Now, I see this week, I think the theme of this video going to be Jodi have such an inflated opinion of herself. And this was part of her motive for murdering Travis. It wasn't just a woman's spurn thing. Oh, you just use me for sex and then I become used toilet paper. Okay? It wasn't just, and you won't take me to Cancun, take the other girl instead. And you recognize I'm a sociopath and say the worst thing that ever happened. Of course, all those factored into her motive. But it wasn't just all that. It also that Jodi have a very inflated opinion of herself, as we have seen over and over. And unfortunately, her ego being fed again this week, last week I should say, because she show up on the cover of People magazine. See that ugly mug there, Jodi Arias? Of course they call her beautiful in here, which drive me insane when they do this. You know what? We should do a video just on this magazine, because it got all kinds of murder and intrigue and things, and all these crime of passion that was done. Like this, like the Petersons, you got this guy. Have you ever followed? I followed this guy's stuff and his trial, and he murdered not one but 2 wives. He really the soulmate to Jodi Arias, I think. He's just driven by ego. He was a cop, a bad cop, who were killing his wives and lording it over them, and one of those jealous, possessive, angry types. Like, it's like, oh, you're going to go to Cancun with somebody, then I'm going to murder you. Okay. Of course, he was married, at least. And then we have the other Peterson, the Scott Peterson, whose crime even worse than Jodi, because he murdered this really nice girl he married to, Lacey, and her unborn child, and he just do it so he can, keep his playboy lifestyle going on. So there's a guy even more evil than, well, I don't know that I can say him more evil. I'm just going to say his crime in this case was more evil. I think Jodi is as equally evil or more evil than just about anyone that ever lived. There's a lot of stuff in here. Let me find a Jodi one. And some of these trials I watched and was very interested. Like this one, just the lady that murdered her husband back in Long Island, or no, it was New Hampshire. And she murdered her young husband because she wanted to divorce him and start dating her students. She was a teacher, very young teacher. And she wanted to be a pedophile, So she murdered him because she was afraid he's going to get the dog if they divorce, right? So she had a really good motive, don't you think? You're going to get the dog. And she don't want to share the dog, joint custody of the dog. So Well, we have a lot of stuff like that, but where's the joke? And this is the astronaut lady who went to murder her rival. I think it was the guy's wife, the astronaut wife, and she was the mistress. And she drove there to murder her, and she was wearing an adult diaper on the way, so she was in a big hurry, didn't want to stop, go to the bathroom. Okay, so a lot of interesting story like that in here, but we digress. Where's Jodi? I'm looking. It's just page after page of different story. A lot of them very interesting. Maybe we'll do a whole. Oh, here it is. Cute killer, they say. Cute killer? I don't think so. I don't think that she's cute at all. But and they show, you know, some early picture of her when she was doing selfies, like she always do. You know, everything about the selfies with her, and then what she looked like now. They got the story right. They say. They talk about how she was climbing through doggy doors and stealing the grandparent gun, and you know, they got it right. All the evidence she left behind. So they weren't one of these stupid media outlets who, you know, mischaracterize things. They showed it like it is. We'll come back and discuss this people at another time, but I hate to see it feed into Jodi's, you know, ego. You know, didn't she get banned in jail recently from going and visiting onto Twitter and everything? She have her little groupies coming, and she trying to mislead them and get them into her own life of deception, saying, oh, come up with a false identity and false accounts and things, and then you can keep, you know, doing stuff on me to try to paint me in a good light, you know. So I thought what I would do, since that other thing bore me to death, is instead, let's look at a little bit of what Jodi herself say just after the murder, when she write to Ryan Burns. And then we're going to look at what she said to Travis when she write to him. So just a couple of excerpt letters that she wrote, and this give us a flavor of who this woman is. Maybe Judge Stephen will see a snippet of this, or it will come to her mind in some way. Dear Ryan, okay, this was written, of course, after he gave his deposition to Martina. I read the transcript of your conversation with Detective Flores, and that what prompted this letter. I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, because, like most of what Jodi do, filled with stupid detail and a total bore. But anyway, I know you probably think that I am a total psychopath. No, Jodi. Ryan, know that you're a total psychopath, okay? By the way, this is the letter. I'm not making any of this up. I just want you to know. And frankly, that is among the lighter things I've been labeled with in preceding months. Yes, psychopath would be light compared to what we know you really are. Okay, Miss Murdering, Stabbing, Incubus from Hell. I know, okay, I'm going to skip all the rambling stuff where she's trying to butter him up and everything. Back to those transcripts. There are a few glaring inaccuracies I could not let rest. One was that the detective said I was giggling and smiling after being taken into custody. That is so not the case. No, she didn't do any giggling and smiling when Flores was interviewing her at first, did she? Every time Jodi tells a lie, even when I'm reading about it, I hear a dog bark someplace. Maybe it's the spirit of that dog that she killed, that she kicked really hard, Doggy Boy. And
I love animals. I got mad and I with my right foot, and he just moved a few feet. He ran away, and I never saw him again after that.
Anyway, that is so not the case. I was somber, calm, and resolute, though I was shaking on the inside. That's not the way I remember her interview. Do you? Ramble. Okay, now she spends several more paragraphs trying to butter him up and change his mind so that maybe he'll do some false testimony on her behalf and rescind his accurate testimony. Anyway, you know, I wasn't the first to say it, but Travis often quoted, "The cream always rises to the top." I guess it's hard and difficult for me to ponder on that concept because of my present set of circumstances. Jodi, you're not the cream rising to the top. I hate to clue you in. You're more like the toxic poison sinking to the bottom, okay? But anyway, that's what she's trying to say. See, inflated opinion of herself. I want you to know I have quite a climb ahead of me. Yes, you do, Jodi. But you're never going to climb out of the pits of hell. Okay, anyway. But I am still committed to a vertical path. You know what? I think she is committed to a vertical path. And I drew up a little graphic here. Oh, here it is. That showed the kind of vertical path she's committed to. Let's see what it looked like. That's the vertical path right there. Jodi is committed. It says here, SuccubusStabby, vertical path. But of course we have to turn it in this direction to be vertical. And that is her vertical path. So I agree with Jodi on this point. She is committed to a vertical path. All right, so Ryan, you weren't in any danger with me. Well, no, Jodi, because you weren't going to go off to Cancun with some other girl. You are in one of the many who has enriched. Okay, enough of that already. Let's move on before I start snoring again. All right, this is what I wanted to do in this particular video. Give you a snapshot of the real Jodi, the subtle part, the underlying current of her real motives have to do with her inflated opinion of herself. And she tries to come off all humble and everything, but the whole point is the opposite. And this is part of why she murdered Travis. He saw right through her. So this was May 16th, just a little while before 2008. Not too long before she committed the murder. And this is what she said. Travis, not dear Travis, just Travis. This is her pretend she not obsessed with him anymore, okay? I think she's still a little obsessed, though, don't you? Hey there. You can just hear the cheeriness in her voice. You know? I feel like sharing this with you. After all, you are my friend. It's been a sore subject for us in the past. I hope you'll understand where I am coming from. Jodi, we know where you're coming from. You're coming from the nether pits of hell. Okay? So that's where you're coming from. And I'm sure Travis did understand that. Okay. I hope you can stretch your mind and heart to put yourself in my shoes for a moment. I know the tone of an email or text message can be ambiguous. She loves to use words that make it sound like she have a vocabulary. Since the receiver is only interpreting the tone, blah, blah, blah. Get on with it, Jodi. It's boring him to death already. Even Travis bored. I bet when he got this thing, it was like, oh my God, another thing from her. You know, 387 messages and texts and phone messages with this obsessive, crazy person. Okay, anyway. You know, it's like endless cloying, delusional, you know, obsessive, you know. Do you get the feeling like the guy's just going like cringing, going, isn't there some way you can be out of my life?
Holy shit!
I realized after further introspection, it sounds like an endoscopic procedure. I realized, throat getting a little scratchy reading this crap. Further introspection. Why it is I asked you to give me a little mention in your next post as credit for editing and grammar I did on typing the lengthy thing out. And she's talking about some literary thing he did. And you know, this is interesting. It's interesting because she brought this up in the Detective Flores' first day of interrogation. Same exact thing. This was really eating at her, that Travis didn't give her some kind of byline credit. Edited by Jodi Arias in his essay or whatever it was, he did his presentation. And that's one of the things make her so angry. She actually discussed that in her interrogation. And that was just for the intro. You gave your friend Katie mentioned, and that was just for the intro that she wrote. Logically, I am your friend too. Your first chapter is much longer, and being the human that I am, Jodi, I'm sorry, but that's a mischaracterization again. You should have said being the alien or being the succubus that I am. It would make me feel good to have recognition thrown my way. Inflated opinion of herself. She didn't do any of this writing. She's just the person that copies, you know. Oh, I see this, I see that. I'm going to copy and trace this art. I'm going to pretend to be a singer, you know. Doesn't have any real talent. He's the one that did the writing. She's mad that somebody else wrote something that went into this thing he did. And I've got to mention, you know, angry, jealous, you know. I feel that I never got proper credit or recognition I deserved as your girlfriend. It's just not fair.
It's not fair.
You say it is because you're a private person. You say it's because of Deanna. You say it because you were attached to the reputation of being a single, eligible bachelor. No, I think he wasn't attached to the reputation of being that. I think he was that, and he don't want to marry you, okay? We know Trav messing around and stuff. The defense tried to paint that as a good reason for Jodi to go stab him 29 times. I think they're a little off base on that. I understand that. I really do. Yeah, sure. And it's okay, hon. I don't harbor any bad feelings at all towards you for any of that stuff. I'm serious. No hard feelings. Okay? You may be asking yourself, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to skip some paragraph. My cry for a little recognition, inflated opinion again, comes from a place within me. Would that be like the center of that black ball of cold iron known as your heart, Jodi, the center of you, comes from a place in me that was never adequately gratified. Well, at least not in the way she wants to be, right? And that it is thirsted, she got a little off on her grammar here, and that it is thirsted to be validated. Does that make any sense to you? It thirsted to be validated. Not just as some girlfriend you associate with, but as your girlfriend. Okay. Jealous. Possessive. They don't have an exclusive relationship. They're not engaged, but she's very angry about this, isn't she? This goes to her motive. Okay. It's all about ego, really. You know, it's not that she was in love with the guy and felt so brokenhearted. That's not the reason Jodi killed Travis. This is about, you know, ego and pride and anger and jealousy and recognition, self-inflated opinion. Sorry, I had a little choking up fit because I was so sad for Jodi for a moment, you know. Choked me up. Had to drink some water again. Behind every great man, there is a great woman. If he were with you, Jodi, and he was a great man, then behind him would be an evil woman with a knife, okay? So I find myself now wishing to be recognized as your friend. That recognition. You know how all through this the theme is me, 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 recognition for me. You're not giving me proper credit and respect and recognition. That's the real motive of the murder. Trying to manipulate, you know. Recognition, grant me the recognition I need within the entire circle of your friends, all of whom think she's a total psycho sociopath, so they want nothing to do with her. You remember that little scene when he was hanging out with her and friends, and she was acting totally inappropriate. That's the way it was all the time with her.
Over here, so I'm looking at my peripheral, and I'm like, shh. Is gonna get killed. And I'm like looking at her with despair.
I am going to digress a little bit, like you didn't already. Either way, this isn't about flowing so much as it is purging. Yeah, I feel like purging myself when I read your stuff, Jodi. Okay. About your mode of operation with Deanna. blah, 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 blah. If Deanna was happy, then Travis was happy, and if so, then Jodi was happy. Notice how she talk about herself into third person? Like when she say, in her interrogation first day, she says, "You could have at least done your makeup, Jodi."
Should have at least done your makeup, Jodi. Gosh.
Talk about herself in the third person, you know, all that kind of thing. She'd go on and say some other nonsense and then say, "You go out of your way to do things for me to make me happy and consider my feelings when doing certain things. And then why do I feel like used toilet paper?" And anyway, this incident about your blog, namely where you don't even want to give my name a mention because of the unwelcome crap and comment you receive from your friends, Chris and Sky Hughes. So there's some people pleasing going on here, it seems to me. More important than our friendship.
It's not fair.
Can you believe this crap? Everyone sees through Jodi by that time and telling Travis, you know, get rid of this crazy woman. She's going to end up murdering you or something. And, you know, he's trying to do so. Remember, Jodi, not Jodi Arias, Jodie Pariah. She was a pariah to everyone, and she deserved to be a pariah to everyone. She's very angry about that, see, because they've seen through her. Well, I'm going to make it easier for you. Yeah, you sure did that, didn't you? I'm going to make it easier for you. I guess that would be by stalking and spying and blackmailing and climbing through doggy doors and going after him and his computer and sending false messages and text from his phone and things like that. That's how she made it easier, you know. Trying to terrorize his girlfriend, slashing tires and all that kind of crap. Given our history and the fact that we dated and all, okay, she rambles on. She just repeats herself over and over. You want to scream. But that doesn't diminish how much we value each other and the inherent divinity. Really, I hate to read this right after Easter, you know. The inherent divinity that is within us. Jodi, it's not divinity in you, okay? It's satanicinity, okay? Is that a word? Probably not. Beelzebubity? No, that's not one either. Anyway, I'll come up with the right word eventually. I thought divinity was a type of candy anyway. Seemed like Mrs. Mikee made some one time. Anyway, when you are scrutinized, criticized, and questioned about being my friend, that's one thing. It hurts us both, yes, but it is easily rectified. You did some rectifying, didn't you, Jodi? But I hope you get rectified yourself, by the way, over the next 30, 40, 50 years. By standing strong and firm in defense of our friendship. Now, why would Travis want to stand up strong for somebody stalking, spying, terrorizing, harassing, jealous, possessive nutball? Nobody want to stand up strong for that, Jodi. When you have to censor our friendship, Jodi, he not your friend. He don't want nothing to do with you. That way he's so happy when you move back to Wairika. And you say, yeah, good riddance. Here, I'll give you a car, too. Whatever I can do. Here's some money. Please just don't come back to Arizona. But you came back, didn't you? Okay. You censor our friendship for fear of the criticism you will receive as a result. Then it becomes awkward and embarrassingly apparent something is not right.
Yeah, I'm the guy who just stole his phone from. I'd like it back. She's over here, so I'm looking at my peripheral because I don't want to turn this way. And I'm like, shut up. Because he's like, shut up, shut up, shut up. And so I'm like, this woman is going to get killed. And I'm like looking at her with like all the despair I can muster.
Something not right, Jodi. Like, one person out of the two friends is a murdering, spying, stalking, sociopathic murderer from hell. Okay, that's what's something wrong with. How long does this go on? Am I boring you? I think this is an interesting insight into who she is. I mean, you know who she is already, but reading this letter, I think you get the full flavor. I am proud to call you my friend. Yeah, never mind you'll falsely label him of being a pedophile later. But here you are saying how proud you are of him. I would publish it in major newspapers nationwide and broadcast it on syndicated radio and national television. Look, she's giving hints that she wants to be on TV, whatever it takes. Yeah. You see, I have no shame. She should have stopped right there. But she goes on instead. In being your friend, blah, blah, blah. Oh, she's just so cloying and so, ugh. It's like somebody pouring slime all over you. It's like leeches stuck all over your body, you know. If someone gave me an ounce of crap over our friendship, I would put them into place. I would put them into place. It is so simple to please me. It really is. All I need is just a little trip to Cancun. Okay, she didn't put that part in. I'm going to be proactive. Oh, here we go with the buzzword vocabulary again. And remove myself from the list of people you have to worry about pleasing. If only, Jodi, you had done that. Still friends? Still friends? Travis, still friends? Of course, silly. I love you and will always be here for you. Yeah, you'll be there for him when he don't want you to be there. As your friend and confidant. And as his murderer, of course. Take comfort in that if it bring you any. Jodi, I don't think anything about your relationship was something he could take comfort in ever. Faithfully your friend. Faithfully his friend. Jodi. Well, there you have it. One of Jodi's many thousands of letters and emails and texts and things to try to manipulate Travis that show her genuine inner motive, anger, pride, ego.
And there are other things.
Really, she had an inflated opinion of herself, don't you think?
Well, he always did have an inflated opinion of himself.
So, we're going to come back and do more video as time allows. I really wish I could do 1,000 more videos. The material on Jodi is such, people suggesting to me all the time, how about her manifesto? You know, and maybe we'll come back after this sentence and do a video on that. There's so much material, you know. The stupid juror, you know, the juror 17, we could do a video on that. And you know, I mean, there's a never-ending thought pop in my head all the time about what we could do on Jodi, but it's a time constraint, you know, 12-hour-day work. I have to renovate my house over the next few weeks and sell it. I'm gonna fix up my house in Oregon when I get a chance, and gonna do 2 moves, move to a temporary, you know, super, super busy, but never mind all that. I'll be boring you as badly as Jodi's 38-page, you know, letters and manifestos and her 380-page testimony as a secret witness for herself. Let's come back and do another topic in the future. And until then, you know, please don't go with no sociopath. Just don't.